Hey guys, welcome to That Florida Feeling. Hope everybody's having a great week. How have you been? It's been super busy for me, and it's super hot because summer is here. Although it's kind of just summer year-round in Florida, so I don't know why I'm excited about that. Yeah. Although we do get 3 days of winter, so I'll be excited that summer comes back when it comes back in late January. Thanks to everybody who's participated in those questions. I'll be sending more out. One more week till my 3rd anniversary. It does fall to the first week of June, so next week. I thought it was going to be this week. I got all excited. My calendar was about a week off, which is normal for me. So next week, so expect more questions. But you guys give great answers. I would not have thought of some of those places to vacation in Florida. And half of those foods I didn't even think of. So you guys are awesome. Thank you for that. Thanks to everybody who's sharing the memes on the Facebook pages and groups, and everybody who's just interacting in general. You guys are awesome. I cannot believe I got something after 3 years with my logo on it. I love the guitar picks. Thank you to Matthew who got those for me, and Mesgarth who helped get those. So that's exciting. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I've got them. I might actually get merch eventually, guys. I talked about it. I think I asked you guys what you would do if would you guys get some of it, and most of you said depending on what it is. So I might put another poll out and ask you guys what you would get if I got some. So expect that soon. Today I'm going to talk about a small town in Florida. No more talks of hurricanes yet, although it does start tomorrow. I'm sure I'm going to talk about that plenty in the next few months. So today we're going to talk about a small town in Florida that's on the Gulf side. We're going to talk about a small town that has a big impact. And we are talking about Tarpon Springs. Tarpon Springs has the motto, visit Greece without leaving Florida. And if you've been there, you know that's absolutely accurate. I have been there. I actually love Tarpon Springs. I used to live close to it. And it is such a cool little place. Tarpon is in Pinellas County, Florida, which is near Tampa. And it has about 25,000 people. And Tarpon Springs actually has the highest percentage of Greek Americans of any city in the U.S. Not just Florida, the entire U.S. So it does sit directly onto the Gulf of Mexico. And the region was settled by farmers and fishermen around the 1870s. And some of them were, when they settled there, they arrived and they saw tarpon jumping out of the waters. And tarpon is a fish, so they named it Tarpon Springs. The name is said to have originated with the remark of Mrs. Ormond Boyer, an early settler from South Carolina, and who was standing on the shore of the bayou and saw the fish sleeping and exclaimed, "See the Tarpon Spring." Hence, the name stuck. And for the most part, the fish seen splashing were actually probably mullet, maybe instead of tarpon, but whatever. The name stuck, and now we have Tarpon Springs. In 1882, Hamilton Diston, who the previous year had purchased land, ordered the creation of a town. He wanted this to be a spot where they should have a town, and he was set on it. So on February 12th, 1887, Tarpon Springs became the first unincorporated city in what is now Pinellas County. So Tarpon Springs sits just north of Clearwater, Dunedin, St. Pete, that whole little area. So less than a year later, on January 13th, 1888, the Orange Belt Railway, which is a railroad, became the first railway line to be built in what is now Pinellas County and arrived in Tarpon Springs. And of course, during this time, this also became an area for snowbirds to start to become like their little playground. Still not a fan of snowbirds. Anyways, here nor there. And Tarpon Springs has some interesting history. The city did have the Rose Cemetery, which is where black residents were interred. And this was really interesting, especially for this area. This began in the late 1800s, which was interesting because not a lot of cities during that time actually had this marked and where they actually had the burials plotted out, and you could actually have headstones for them. And they actually have the earliest legible marked burial is from 1904. So you can't see all the headstones, but you can at least see where they were. And the cemetery also contains the grave of Richard Quarles, a Confederate veteran of the Civil War who fought alongside his enslaver before moving to Tarpon Springs and choosing the new name Christopher Columbus. He was also veterans of the subsequent war, so it's kind of cool that he's actually buried in Tarpon Springs, and you can go kind of see where he's buried today. But what is Tarpon known for? Tarpon is known for the sponge industry, and if you've ever been to Tarpon, you know of the sponge docks. And it's actually probably one of the biggest things that they're known for. In the 1880s, John K. Cheney, we're going to go with Cheney, he founded the first sponge business. And if you're thinking of sponge, I'm exactly thinking of what you're thinking of, just like SpongeBob, a sponge. And the industry actually grew from the 1880s into the 1890s, and many people from Key West and the Bahamas actually came to Tarpon to settle, to hook sponges and to begin to process them, and they would dry them out, and they are natural sponges. A few Greek immigrants also arrived in the city during the 1890s to work in the sponge industry. In 1905, John Kokoris introduced a technique of sponge diving to Tarpon Springs by recruiting divers and crew members from Greece, because in Greece this is a huge industry. The first divers came from the Saronic Gulf islands from, Aegina and Hydra. So many jokes there. But they were soon outnumbered by those from, and I cannot say half of these words, from islands from Kalaminos and Sami and Halki. Greek is not my language, sorry guys. These are also islands in Greece. And the sponge industry really kind of evolved out of these Greeks who came over to really make a new living in Tarpon Springs. And the industry kind of boomed. And it became one of the leading maritime industries in Florida. And really the most important business in Tarpon Springs. That is what Tarpon Springs became known for. And even in the early 1900s, it began generating millions of dollars a year. The film 1953, Beneath the 12-Mile Reef, actually depicts the sponge industry and was filmed in Tarpon Springs. Unfortunately, in 1947, a red tide algae bloomed and wiped out the sponge fields in the Gulf of Mexico, causing many of the sponge boats and divers to switch to shrimping for a livelihood, while others left the business altogether for something new. The sponges did recover, and actually since recovered. And they do allow for smaller but consistent sponging that still goes on today. In the 1980s, they did experience another boom because there was a mass disease that killed the Mediterranean sponges. But you can still see them go sponging today. There's actually still an active industry in Tarpon Springs. In fact, if you go there, you can still watch them. You can take tours. You can see all the fun stuff. It's actually a really cool place to walk around. They have a great little downtown area. You can see them do the daily sponge harvest. But one really cool thing about Tarpon is every year they have an Epiphany celebration. And Tarpon Springs is really known for their elaborate religious ceremonies held by St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Cathedral. And that's really part of the Greek Orthodox Church. And we've gotten to actually see this. It takes place every year in January, usually January about 6th. And it's called the Epiphany. And it's a celebration that includes youths diving for a cross and blessing the waters and the boats. And this is in this bayou, Little Springs. And ever since the first Greek immigrants depended on the sea and the boats for their livelihood, and their attachment to their religious came kind of with them from Greek, they do a religious service centered on requested divine protection for what they used to be a high risky job in diving. And back then, knowing the suits and the stuff they used, that really was a risky job. Of course, it's a little more high tech now, but they used to request blessings in their job, and they used to do that, and this tradition is just kind of held over. And so every year they put a cross in the water, and all the youths go diving for it, and whoever gets it kind of gets blessed for the year. And the celebration attracts Greek Americans from all over the country. And And pretty much the entire city just grows and triples that day. And it's really cool. It's really something to see. So basically they take a wooden cross, they throw it into the city's springs bayous, and boys between the age of 16 and 18 dive in to retrieve it. Whoever retrieves the cross is said to be blessed for a whole year. And this is well known in the area. We've gotten to see it. It's all over the news that day. It's a really cool thing. It's really awesome that they keep their religious beliefs and have brought them over to Tarpon, and this is something that has continued throughout the years. Now, Tarpon is, again, really known for their sponges, and that really is what kept them going, and that's really what kept them prominent. Now, they do have a historic district. They do have like a really cute downtown little area, and of course, it is mostly traditionally in Greek. And that's really the primary tourist destination of Tarpon is the downtown area. And of course, you can find absolutely amazing Greek cuisine and fresh seafood. They have the Spongeorama Museum. Go once. It's fun. I think I talked about it in one of my offbeat roadside attractions, one of my very first episodes. But Tarpon also has some really pretty beaches nearby. Because it's kind of on one of the barrier islands, and you can see dolphins, you can see a lot of crabs running like in the water and stingrays. You can see there's a lot of finding a lot of shells over there. And it's right near Anclote Island, or Anclote Key. And Anclote Key is a state park. It's got a historic lighthouse. And it's a really nice area if you just want to escape for a little bit, get out of Clearwater, get out of Tampa. Tarpon is a really cute little downtown area that just gets you out of the hustle and bustle of Clearwater and going to Tarpon. And it kind of takes you back to old Florida. It's nothing fancy. It's got great food. There's nice people. It kind of lets you get another look at a whole new heritage. The Tarpon Springs Heritage Museum also offers a permanent exhibition about the history and culture of the Greek community. So it's really cool. It kind of lets you look at the people who came to Tarpon and tells you about, what their heritage is, and especially about their religion. And there's some beautiful churches down there. Absolutely beautiful. They also have the Depot Museum, which provides an overview of Tarpon Springs history, the first people that came there, and how it was founded. Some beautiful buildings. Their city hall is absolutely gorgeous brick building. They have like I said, the old train station, which is now a museum. Rose Hill Cemetery is another good spot if you're into history in that area. You can also see stuff related to the sponge industry, there's two different sponge packing houses. Again, this is just kind of an overlooked, small, quaint, old Florida town that has started out, as a sponge industry and has survived all these years. And they still do sponges, and you can still buy these natural sponges that they do harvest daily. And you can go on tours, and you can go on the boats, and you can see beautiful views and clear waters of the springs and the nature in the area. I love Tarpon Springs. We never met rude people there. We always met nice. Everyone was always so friendly. The food was always great. They have really good festivals up there. So if you're looking for a place to escape Clearwater or Tampa, and you're looking for kind of an old Florida feel, or some really great Greek Mediterranean food, or even some great seafood, definitely want to check out Tarpon Springs, Florida. I would say it's about 25-30 minutes north of Clearwater on a day with traffic. So yeah, just go check it out. I just wanted to bring you guys another little small town in Florida that most people overlook. I know I've talked about the Spongeorama Museum in my roadside attractions, so check that out definitely if you want to go back into my library, or check out any of my old episodes. I do have quite a few. I do weekly episodes, as you guys know, so check those out, especially since it's summer and you guys are probably looking for new things to do and explore in Florida. Check out any of the state park episodes. Check out places to go for like if you're going to the theme parks. I've done it on most of the Disney theme parks. Get you some insider tips since I used to be a cast member. But yeah, guys, I'm excited. My 3rd year anniversary is coming up next week. Look out for those polls and questions. No Florida man this week, guys. We all know that the verdict got read, and we'll consider him the Florida man this week. However you feel about it, I'm not political, so don't post it. Don't care. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Don't forget to drink your water. Be nice to one another. And as always, guys, that's your daily dose of sunshine.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.